What makes Elon Musk so unattractive? Welcome back to LookLogix. Today we'll be assessing Elon Musk's facial attractiveness. So on faceiq Labs, I've pinpointed and landmarked his front and side profile, and he gets a 5.31 out of 10. This is a slightly above average harmony. It's quite better than I expected, and his side profile is kind of carrying the score. With the front profile, you can see that unappealingness and the low dimorphism. But starting with the front ratios, Elon gets, for his lowest scores, face width to height ratio 0.74 out of 10. This is quite out of the ideal range, and you can see most of his ratios are quite low on the scoring chart, and that's the main reason that Elon Musk is so unattractive, is his ratios are quite off. Now scrolling down, he does have some 10s out of 10s, which is pretty good. Elon actually has ideal lateral canthal tilt, which is pretty impressive. You can just see his eyes aren't the best, but they aren't the worst for sure. He has nice white sclera. His neck width is scoring quite low because it is too slim. But this may also be from a slight distortion of the front profile photo I sourced. His forehead is also quite large, and it's giving an uneven, kind of the mega brain look. His one eye apart test is also out of the ideal range. It's below half at 4.18 out of 10, and you can see it out of the range. The right eye width to height aspect ratio is also on a range. So faceiq Labs is giving us quite an accurate scoring with all the measurements, which I really like how they're all visually shown as well on the side here. And then our score and the range in your value. I like this visual representation. It's kind of easier to differentiate. Elon's key strengths are his ideal jaw steepness, his ideal nose width, and his ideal mouth width, and the ideal forehead width. However, I think a slightly more compact forehead width is more attractive, and that is just from the subjective side of the perceiver. But this is the objective facial harmony, basically using objective measurements, as you can see with these ratios. But this rating isn't counting in his status as a person. He's one of the publicly known richest men in the world, which makes him higher on the appealing chart. But remember that this scoring is only for his face and his harmony. By the way, guys, if you'd like to try this out for yourself, I have a special code just for you. It's 20% off any plan on faceiqlabs.com. You can use LookLogix. I'll put it in the description of the video and the pinned comment. And now let's move on to the side ratios. So Elon's side ratios, he has a few that are out of whack. His lowest score is the submental cervical angle. You can see what's wrong with his neck. It's very forward and protruding, which is a classic unattractive look. It is quite out of the ideal range, and it doesn't even score a single point. Next is his nasofrontal angle, which is under a 2 out of 10. You can just see how flat his brow ridge is, and it's causing such a low score. His mental labial angle is a 3.65 out of 10, which is still pretty low. You can see there's not much of a squash in here, and it's kind of giving that weird flat underlip look. Looks ridiculous. And then he also has some really high scores, like his gonian to mouth line is a 10 out of 10. His facial depth to height ratio is also 10 out of 10. So Elon Musk scores about a 5.31 out of 10. I would say it would be a little bit lower depending on if you're using his prime or not, or if you're using his current age. I would give Elon Musk a solid 4.9 out of 10 facially, including his dimorphism and other things that weren't mentioned in this harmony analysis. Once again, if you'd like to try the app, you can use the code LookLogix. I'll put it in the description in the pinned comment, and it'll give you 20% off any plan.